Hi everyone, this is Tina. We are talking today about sellers forms. And I'm going to do this webinar a little different than I did the buyers webinar in that I'm going to start from Realcomp and take you through the wizard. This is how I like to do things. There are of course other ways to do them, but this is how I like to do them. So we've gone into public records. I'm going to start a transaction and wait for it to show up. Okay, there we go. We're going to name this. I like to name these by the street first, then the address, and then say what it is. That way it's always in alphabetical order for me. We're going to do a template and we're going to do a listing packet. The reason we're going to do that is all of our forms, our office forms, and the forms, the required forms, are in here for you when you do the template. It also lets me add as the listing agent. In this case, I signed in under Paul, so Paul will be the listing agent, and I'm going to use the wizard. Now, I am not going to, and then we're going to create. I'm not going to fill out everything in the wizard because I want to show you everything from the forms. So most of this, we're just going to click through to next. But as you can see, it'll give you the information. So we're going to go next. We're not going to fill any of this out right now. This fills out your seller's information, and you as the listing agent, if you want to add somebody, you can. You would just add them there. We're going to next. Now, this has the forms, and it'll tell you where the forms are. This happens to be a GMAR form, exclusive right to sell contract, and this is the letter size. That way it's legible. If you do the legal size, it's not really legible when you print it. So exclusive right to sell, or ERTS. Listing form, this is from Realcomp, and this is a good form to take with you and have or on the computer. One of the reasons is it'll help you remember everything you need for this listing, that you need to know room sizes, that you need to know what type of heating there is, things like that. Then our disclosure regarding real estate agency relationships. I don't want to make this too long, so we may go through it. We may just kind of glance over it so that I don't have you sleeping. Our Michigan lead-based paint seller's disclosure form, letter size, and then our Michigan seller's disclosure statement. So we've got all the forms. When we hit the next button, it will show our Red Door Realty internal forms. So you've got your homeowners association. If you want a home warranty, it's in there. Actually, I think that's the old one. We may need to change that. It's got a mortgage payoff authorization. You probably want to get one from whatever title company you're using. But there is one there for you if you want it. Our lockbox open house sign release, our hold harmless, showing instructions. We're not going to go through all of these, but they all will be in here. We'll go through some of them later. Okay, stop Facebook. Done. We're done. The first thing we're going to do is go to which form? I guess we're going to start with our exclusive right to sell form. Exclusive right to sell contract, letter size. Okay, most of this I'm going to go over the highlights. You read it so you understand all of the terms. This has pre-filled this out because I went through the wizard. So all of the brokerage information is there. You know, the owner's name, probably the address is going to be the same as the house, maybe not, but fill all that out. I'm not going to go through all that. A phone number for them. And this is, the first thing is consideration and term of contract. So this is the day that the agreement is entered into, not necessarily when it is listed from. So today's the 24th. We're going to click that date and we're going to say we're going to sell it the 24th. And I like to have my listings go for 6 months. as a minimum generally. That should give you plenty of time in this market especially to sell the property as long as it's priced correctly. So that means we'll go January 24th, 2019. Then we've got our property description. In this case, this is a residential property, but as you can see, there's condominium, multifamily, etc. It is located in the city of Ferndale, county of Oakland, etc., etc. Now, as you can see here, our legal description is partly cut off. Here's how to remedy that. Just click there. We're going to highlight all of this stuff that you can't see, cut it over here and paste it there. Then we've got all of our legal description in there. This part is where it's telling the seller that everything that's attached to the property stays with the property. Let them know, they can't take it if it's attached. If they want to take it down before they list it. And then anything that is not attached, but they're still going to sell with the house, that's where this would go. So say we're going to sell it with the stove, fridge, and the microwave. Now, I'm not going to everything that is possible, but we'll have those three things. Anything else, of course, you would add. Seller excludes the following items. If there's something that your seller wants to take that is attached, that's where this goes. In our case, if we ever sold our house, I would take the lilac bush in the backyard because it came from my grandmother's house, and there's no way I'm leaving it. Paul has already dug that bush up twice, and he would do it again. So that's coming with me. Next, price. What is the price you're going to list this house for? We'll say we're going to list this house for $100,000. That's all you need to do. When you tab, it will formulate it like that. Now, possession. How long is your seller giving possession at close? Are they waiting, do they need 2 weeks possession or whatever it is? In this case, we're going to say they're giving possession at close, but then this part is the part that they would be paying to rent the house after it sells, of course. I don't put a dollar amount in here. I wait and I put 1/30th PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and let your seller know that they would be paying the new buyer's mortgage amount, not any previous mortgage that they might have had. Okay, commission. I don't do an amount, again, because say the sale price changes, your commission amount would change. I do a percentage, that way you're always covered. Now this is for both a listing agent and buyer's agent. And you also have to remember that in Michigan, commissions are negotiated. There is no required commission or set commission. So in this case, we're going to say we've negotiated a 6% total commission price. This also says that if for some reason you had a ready, willing, and able buyer and your seller didn't sell, you could still get commission. We'll talk about that another time. Or if it's listed and for some reason you don't go through the entire listing process, if you brought somebody that was going to buy that house, we're going to say, here's what I do. I put 180 days. 180 days from when that listing ends. Anybody that I'm the procuring cause of, and you guys should all know what that is, I still get a commission 180 days past the listing, the termination. And that's for various reasons, which I'll tell you another time. I won't go into right now. You can put whatever number of days you want. I always put 180. Now, default. If the sale doesn't go through because the seller just refuses to perform, then they owe the full commission. If a sale doesn't go through because of the buyer's refusal to perform and the seller gets the earnest money deposit, part of that can be yours, whatever you put in here. Now, frankly, I put 0 in mine because I still want to work with this seller. They're going to probably be very frustrated. and it's not enough money to lose the sale over, usually, sometimes, but so that's what I put. Let's see, we're not going to go through all these because we chose the default option. Now, this is saying that the seller is authorizing us to put this in the MLS, multiple listing service, and this is the amount we're going to pay to a cooperating broker. In this case, we're going to split it with them. It'll be the 3%, which is why you want to have 6 on top so you actually get a commission. Agency. This is saying that you have given them agency disclosure and they know that you're working on their behalf as a seller's agent. Okay, this just says it's marketable title, good title. That they will allow showings and signs. We have another sign form that they'll sign, that we're authorized to advertise the property, that we're held harmless, but we also have another hold harmless form just in case. Lockbox. They're saying, yes, we can put a lockbox on the property. Always let them know to put their valuables away because people will be walking through their property. Let's see, market. This is letting them know that once we have a purchase agreement, an accepted purchase agreement, we're not marketing this house for sale anymore. We're taking it off the market, marking it as pending. Referral. This is letting your seller know that if somebody, knocks on their door and says, hey, I see you're selling your house, the seller's already agreed to say, yes, I am. Call my real estate agent. They're negotiating a sale for me. Citizenship. Yes, they are. Heirs, that its contract is binding. No discrimination. And this is saying that the seller is agreeing to provide you with all information required by law. If they know that there's a problem with this house, they're required to tell you about it. That they have marketable title so they can sell it, that it's a binding contract. This is letting them know that the photos that we're taking, the MLS, basically what it is, MLS has a right to use them. Anything else? Sometimes it will be something, especially in this market, maybe it's they're not selling unless they get another house under contract and they want that in the listing agreement. Fine, put it in there. And then here's where you would sign and date. The seller would sign and date. And then if there's a second seller, of course, they would sign and date there as well. Okay, we're all done with our exclusive right to sell, or ERTS. We're going to save. Oops, we'll go to save. Save in our information. We're going to exit this form and we're going to go to our next form. Okay, our second form is going to be our seller's disclosure statement. Now, seller's disclosure statement must be filled out by the seller. You're not allowed to fill this out for them. The only exception would be if there is a person with a disability, you are allowed to help them with the form, but you have to put what they say. And as with any seller, you have to let them know that, if you go down in the basement and there's water in the basement and they say, no, I don't have any problems with water in the basement, you're required as a real estate agent to disclose that. And you have to let them know that. Okay, here's how I explain these categories. This is that the items are in working order or not available. So in this case, we're saying the stove is staying. Yes means it is staying and it works. No means it is staying, but it does not work. Unknown, you don't know if it works. Not available, of course, is you're taking it with you or it's just not there. So in this case, we're going to say our range, yes, it is staying and it works. Dishwasher, no, we're saying we don't have a dishwasher. Refrigerator, we told them yes, we were leaving the refrigerator. The hood fan. I've never used my hood fan. I'm going to say I don't know if my hood fan works. And the disposal, we're saying, oh, the disposal doesn't work. It's staying in the house. I'm not disconnecting it, but it does not work. So yes, it is staying and it works. No, it is staying, does not work. Unknown, I have no idea if it works. Not available. It's not here. I don't have a roof antenna. And of course, go through all of these other ones. We won't go through them line by line, but go through all of them with your seller. Any explanations here, or like it says, another sheet if necessary. Usually it's not I've never had one where it was necessary. All right, then they have to go through and answer these questions. Basement crawl space, has there been evidence of water? Well, if they had this house in the great flood of, I think it was 2014, did it get water? Yes, it did. So they would put yes, it had water, and you can explain that. You can say flood of is OF 2014. And what was the remedy? I had it professionally cleaned and no problem since. Whatever it is they tell you. That's what goes there. Insulation. I'm not sure what my insulation is. Roof. No, don't have any roof leaks. Or if they do or did, put them there, etc., etc. Now, the other thing to remember is the bottom of page 1, have your seller initial that. Okay, page 2 of our seller's disclosure statement. Okay, and that's more questions. Finish filling these out. The heating system, the plumbing system, electrical system. It's a history of infestation. Do you or don't you have it? Some of these they may not know. Mineral rights. Do you own the mineral rights? I'm not sure. Say unknown. Etc., etc. Going through all of these. Okay, the next one is the seller has lived in the property from. Say I've lived in this from, we're going to do a close one because I don't feel like going back too far. February 14th, we bought it Valentine's Day and we're selling it. It can be to present. I don't know if I want you, yeah. Or never lived in home, if they haven't ever lived in the home. Maybe it was a rental prior, owned it since 1998. I don't know why I picked that year, but that's when they owned it. Okay. And then this is where your seller would sign and date. And then, of course, these get uploaded to the MLS. So when you get a buyer, that's where they would sign a date. Okay, we are going to save this one. We are going to exit this. And we're going to go to the next form. Our next form is going to be our lead-based paint form. I passed it. There we go. Lead-based paint, Sellers, Michigan, and letter form again. And what you tell people with lead-based paint is every house before, with your buyers and your sellers, frankly, every house built before 78 has lead in it because lead-based paint, because they put lead in the paint. But your seller needs to fill out, do they know of any lead-based paint hazards in the house, or do they not know? Generally, they don't know. Do they have a report or don't they? And then have them sign. This is where you would, as the agent, initial, date, and sign, saying that, you've told them of their responsibilities to your best of your knowledge. Everything they've told you is true. And then we would save this one, go down to save. We would go to exit, and we're all done with that one. Okay. And Paula will give you the exclusive right, no, not the exclusive right to sell. If I stop talking and think, then I'll know what I'm saying. Is going to give you the listing checklist, but we will look at this real quick in your email and the other forms. Okay, listing checklist. This tells you everything with an asterisk is a required form. Your deal worksheet, your exclusive right to sell, disclosure of agency relationships. Oh, you know what? We're going to go over that real quick. Seller's property disclosure, lead-based paint, your open house, your showing instructions, listing data sheet. If the office is putting it in, it is required for the office. If you're doing it yourself, it is not a required form, which it says on the bottom there. The hold harmless, and then any other forms that you have. We're going to close this one, and we're just going to go back to my wizard. Okay, we are going to go over Michigan disclosure regarding real estate agency relationships. And of course, here are all of your duties as a real estate agent, your specific duties for a seller's agent, buyer's agent. We're skipping dual agent. And we are saying you are acting as the seller's agent. In this office, we're designated agents, so the only agents that have the responsibility to the seller as the broker are you and the broker. The other agents do not. And this is where you would sign and date. And we are going to say that the seller does not have an agency relationship with another real estate agent. They are the seller and their name, and then you would have them sign in sign. Okay, that's it for this one. We're going to save that. I don't know why, but we're going to save it. We are going to exit, and we're going to say thank you. I appreciate you being here with me, and we will talk later. Bye.